It's time for another episode of Good News with Jay. Thanks for coming back. And if it's your first time watching, well, thank you so much for tuning in. Here at Good News with Jay, we try and shine a light on all of the helpers in our local and global communities. Let's get straight into some good news. Turns out, Aggie the Maine Coon might actually have 9 lives after all. The feisty feline went missing for 2 months after the Palisades wildfire turned her home to ashes, leaving her owner, 82-year-old Catherine Kiefer, heartbroken. But just when all hope seemed lost, plot twist, Aggie was found. A little crispy and malnourished, but very much alive. Thanks to her microchip and some much-needed blood transfusions, she's on the road to recovery. Their tearful reunion went viral on TikTok, proving 2 things. Never underestimate a cat, and always microchip your furry escape artists. If you like hearing about Aggie and want more uplifting news stories, be sure to support the channel with a like and subscribe. Maybe even a comment? Alright, back to the news. A 4-year-old boy in Wisconsin took justice into his own hands after his mom committed the ultimate crime, stealing his ice cream. Outraged, he called 911, demanding that she be locked up. When police finally arrived, he doubled down on his case, but eventually agreed not to press charges, admitting he just wanted his ice cream back. Luckily, the young boy didn't get in trouble for calling the cops. 2 days later, the officers made things right by surprising him with 2 scoops of ice cream, complete with blue sprinkles. Case closed. 2 months after the Eaton fire turned St. Mark's School into a pile of ashes, therapy dogs were called in to save the day. And it worked! Jennifer Foley Tolbert, the head of the school, said the pups were basically the students' emotional lifelines, bringing smiles and hope to the kids now crammed into EF Academy in Pasadena. With 240 students displaced, the dogs, along with their dedicated handlers from all over SoCal, brought some much-needed cheer, especially for kids like Adrian, a 6th grader, who was thrilled to see his classmates again. Gianna, who lost her home in the fire, found some comfort in the furry therapy. Even Foley Tolbert, who also lost her home, couldn't help but be inspired by the kids' resilience, because if these kids can stay upbeat, surely we can all survive 2025 with a little more puppy love. At 82, Annie Min, aka Min Shin Sik, is still wowing the world with her cartoon magic, proving that creativity only gets better with age. A pioneer in the Korean comic world since the 1960s, Min has now taken her talents to YouTube, sharing her work with a new generation. Even after retiring, Min kept drawing for fun, and now her daughter has helped her launch a YouTube channel. Min's back in action, delighting fans by drawing BTS, New Jeans, and virtual groups, and even turning her characters into popular Kako Talk emoticons. It's clear she's not slowing down anytime soon. Larry Ferris Jr., the Louisville bus driver with a heart of gold, became an internet sensation after a simple but sweet act of kindness. One morning, he noticed 1st grader Levi sitting on the ground looking miserable. Apparently, Levi didn't have pajamas for pajama day. Determined to make things right, Ferris Jr. hit up Family Dollar, brought 2 pairs of pajamas, and delivered them to Levi at school. The result? Levi's face lit up brighter than a Christmas tree, and he hugged the pajamas like they were a long-lost friend. Ferris Jr. is clearly living his best life driving buses, building bonds with kids, and being the hero we didn't know we needed. After the school shared his story, the internet couldn't get enough, with locals praising Mr. Larry as a top-notch, all-around awesome guy. Jake Harbath, a Utah man, spent his 2024 advocating for wild Mustangs by embarking on a 6,000-mile journey across 25 states with his 3 adopted Mustangs, Denver, Eddie, and Bella. Along the way, he documented his adventure and encouraged others to adopt wild horses through the Bureau of Land Management's program. Harbath believes he may have set a record for the longest continuous horseback ride in the US, covering 4,570 miles in 1 year. His journey raised awareness about the challenges wild horses face and the importance of adoption, inspiring many to begin the process. The Bureau recognized his efforts, and Harbath plans to apply for recognition with the Long Riders Guild and Guinness World Records. After more than 40 years apart, Essie Gilchrist, or Mama Essie to the many kids she fostered, was reunited with one of her former foster children, Hannah Smith. Now a trauma therapist, Smith posted on social media in search of Gilchrist, remembering the kindness and lessons of self-care she learned while living with her as a troubled child. Mama Essie, who had fostered children for nearly 30 years, was overjoyed to hear from Smith and learn how much of an impact she had on her life. The reunion brought happiness to both women, with Smith feeling incredibly grateful for the love and guidance Mama Essie gave her all those years ago. And that's some good news. In Oregon, students at Sillet's Valley Schools are cooking up something special with a unique culinary program that blends French techniques with local Native American traditions. Led by the talented chef Patrick Clark, the program teaches students how to harvest and cook with fresh, local ingredients like seafood, wild mushrooms, and even elk. The hands-on experience includes everything from oyster farming to seafood butchery, all while learning about sustainability. The students have had some amazing opportunities, like working with top chefs, catering events, and even traveling to Portland for the Governor's Conference on Tourism. Clark hopes his program not only sharpens their culinary skills, but also opens doors to exciting careers in Oregon's seafood industry. Karen Collinsworth, the 65-year-old Starbucks supervisor of Marshall University, is about to swap her barely holding together Kia for some fresh wheels, thanks to an army of caffeine-fueled college students. Known for doling out lattes and life advice, Collinsworth has been a campus favorite for years. So when her car finally called it quits, after multiple break-ins, a stolen catalytic converter, and a never-ending game of will it start today, her barista coworkers took action. A spur-of-the-moment GoFundMe with a $10,000 goal exploded past $40,000, fueled by students, faculty, and even the university president. Now she's off to buy a new ride. Brianna Castle, a 41-year-old woman from Wheatfield, Indiana, proved just how tough she is after surviving nearly a week trapped in her car following a crash. After falling asleep at the wheel near Newton County landfill, she ended up off the road with broken ribs, fractures, and suffering from dehydration. To stay hydrated, she dipped her sweatshirt in a nearby creek and sucked on it for water. Despite hearing cars pass by, she couldn't get help until a worker spotted her vehicle. Thankfully, she was rescued, taken to a hospital, and reunited with her family. While her recovery will take time, she's on the mend and showing incredible strength. An Australian man in his 40s lived for 100 days with an artificial titanium heart while waiting for a transplant, setting a new record for the longest use of the device. Implanted in November 2024 at St. Vincent's Hospital, Sydney, the device kept him alive until a donor heart became available in March 2025. The artificial heart, made of titanium with a levitated rotor, replaces both heart ventricles and pumps blood to the body and lungs, offering hope as a long-term alternative for patients waiting for donor hearts. While still in clinical trials, the device has been tested in the US, and experts see it as a potential solution for heart failure patients who can't wait for a donor. And that's our show. If you enjoyed any of today's stories, or have any good news of your own to share, why don't you leave a comment down below telling us all about it? We'd love to hear it. And remember, no matter what's going on in the world, there's always good news to share. I'm Jay, the Good News Monster, and I'll see you next time on another episode of Good News with Jay. Bye! A little voice crack. Huh. There's some sirens. Wait for them to pass. Are they in the sky, man? With a bi-8 core, BI. How do you say this? We're not going to name the brand.